I died in a bar of a heart attack, full of laughter, and we were having a cabbage competition. And I was very confident that for once I was going to win this vegetable competition. And somebody made a bet with me that was so lewd that I took it on, and he shook my hand, and I laughed so much I was sick and died.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Grave Visitations here. So today I'm in Churchtown, County Cork, and we're here to visit the final resting place of legendary British actor Oliver Reed. But before we go to see Oliver's grave, I'll tell you a bit about his movies and his lifestyle and a few different things like that. And I'll also be showing you the pub. So there was a pub here called O'Brien's Bar here in Churchtown. It's a little tiny village in Cork. And this was a favourite pub of Oliver's to drink in. As people already know, Oliver was a big drinker and liked his tipple. And his favourite pub here was O'Brien's. And his wish was to be buried right across the road from his favourite bar. So Oliver Reed, Robert Oliver Reed, was born on the 13th of February 1938. He was an English actor. In the 60s he made appearances in Hammer horror movies. The Trap in 1966 and later on 1968. Of course he played that wonderful character Bill Sikes in Oliver Twist, and I remember watching that movie, and he actually done a really super job in that movie. He was also in other movies called Funny Bones in 1995, and of course Gladiator in 2000 with Russell Crowe. His character in Gladiator was Antonius Proximo, and he starred alongside Russell Crowe in that movie. Russell Crowe was playing the part of Maximus. Now, quote unquote, so I've read online, apparently himself and Russell Crowe didn't really see eye to eye. There was a lot of time, I think, during the movie of Gladiator when they were making that movie. Apparently Russell Crowe, you know, didn't like his drunk behaviour and stuff like that, and they didn't really get on. But he was nominated for a BAFTA Award for Best Actor in a supporting role in Gladiator, that movie. And sadly, his career kind of, you know, alcohol took its toll really in the 1970s.
Gin and orange? Sort of.
And it started to affect his career. But back in the day, he also had jobs before he became an actor. He worked as a taxi driver, a bouncer, and was also a boxer. Now, he was a very burly guy and strong looking guy. And I suppose he played those parts in movies as well, you know, the tough guy. But this is the pub here, O'Brien's Bar, and this was Oliver's favourite watering hole, as we say here in Ireland, where he used to go and have his drinks with the locals. And the reason why Oliver loved Ireland so much, as he said himself, you know, he said, I felt less judged when I lived in Churchtown in Cork, he said. He actually bought a house here back in 1993 for £200,000, and he made that his home with his wife. But this is O'Brien's Bar, and this is where Oliver done a lot of his drinking and spending time with his friends and family and everyone like that. earlier in the career, as I was saying, he was a boxer, taxi driver, and also did a stint in the army as well. But sadly, in 1999, Oliver was in Malta. He was on a break from filming Gladiator, and he was in a bar actually in Malta, and he was having a drinking competition, I think, with sailors, English sailors who were docked in a port nearby, and beat a couple of guys. As I was saying, he was a burly guy, a strong man, and he had an arm wrestle with a couple of sailors in a bar in Malta. And sadly, in the pub in Malta, he passed out with a heart attack, and he was rushed to hospital in an ambulance, and he died on the way to hospital in an ambulance. He had his funeral in Mallow, in the church in Mallow, and there wasn't many stars at the funeral, I believe. There was Alex Hurricane Higgins, the snooker player. He was there, he attended. You had the film maker, film producer, Winner is his surname. I'll put his name in if I can't remember at the moment, but his surname was Winner. He was a film producer, and he was at the funeral as well. And of course, Hurricane Higgins, the famous snooker player, wasn't well himself at the time. He was suffering from cancer, I believe. Just have a grave here of Christy Scott, a retired man who was in the army, it seems. Died in 2019. So, yeah, his funeral was in Mallow, Church of Ireland Church, I think it was, in Mallow. And many attended, and I believe as the hearse left the church to bring him here to Churchtown to be buried here in this beautiful old graveyard. And there's an old ruin of a church in among all that overgrowth there, and a couple of other old headstones. So I believe they played the song Consider Yourself, which comes from the movie where he played Bill Sikes, Oliver Twist.
Consider yourself a mate. We don't want to have no fuss.
And there's a couple of people here today actually attending a grave, so I'll try to be discreet as I can, guys, but I'm going to take you over now and we'll visit the final resting place of Oliver Reed, the famous man and the actor. As people used to say, he was a bit of a hellraiser in life. So guys, we'll take you down to the grave, and I think apparently I forgot to mention in the video as well, he lived in Guernsey as well, an island there as well in Guernsey, for a number of years. And there was one occasion, I think, where he was arrested in Guernsey in the 1970s. He was actually looking for a friend of his in a hotel. And the story goes is that he put his hand through a window that he thought it was his friend's room. He was trying to get into a room to see a friend of his. And he put his hand through a window. And the police were called. And he was arrested. I think he was told to leave the area. He was arrested. He didn't leave the area, so he was locked up for a couple of hours. And the funny thing is, it wasn't even his friend's. It wasn't even his friend's room. So just a couple of stuff like that, you know, that he had as a hellraiser in life. He had a problem with alcohol, but I mean, we're going to remember him not for those things, you know. We're going to remember for all the beautiful movies he made and his career, and he was a wonderful actor. But anyway, guys, I'm going to take you over here now to see the grave of Oliver Reed. And this is the grave here, guys. And it says Oliver Robert Reed, 1938 to 1999. And of course he passed out in the pub in Malta. I think it was the 2nd of May. And just below it there it says he made the air move. There's a lovely inscription on it. Yeah, so guys, that's the final resting place of Oliver Reed, a well-known actor. So thank you, Oliver, for all the great movies and the memories. So I'm actually just going to go over here, guys, to the pub across the road just to see, because it wasn't opened when I was there. But I'd like to try and show you inside the pub if I can. Try and get a bit of video footage or maybe a couple of photographs if possible. I was just speaking to a couple of locals there as well, and they were telling me stories, you know, about Oliver's house was about 2 miles out the road from where he's buried here. And he used to have these big, huge parties. As I was saying, Alex Higgins, Hurricane Higgins, used to come over from England and go up to Oliver's house and have parties. Oliver used to throw money behind the bar, and he used to joke, you know, get these people a drink. So he was well loved here by the local people here in Churchtown in Cork. And as I said, that's why he wanted to live here. It was a quiet area. Nobody was judging him. And he's buried just right across the road from his favourite pub. And that was his final wish. So guys, I'm here this is the woman here that works in the pub, and this is the pub where Oliver used to spend, I suppose, a lot of his time. And there's pictures here on the wall. I'll just show you. There's a picture of Oliver Reed there. So he's still remembered here today in this pub. There's a picture of Oliver Reed there with the boxing gloves on. As I was saying in the video, he'd done a bit of boxing back in the day as well. Yeah, so this is the bar here in Churchtown. Oliver Reed sat right there, had drinks with the locals. And loved the village, as he said. He called it his home.